A game last night at Wrigley Field that featured an over-under pregame of 11.5 because inside the friendly confines, the winds were blowing out to Waveland Avenue. That's behind the left field bleachers inside Wrigley Field. And although the total was up there at 11 and a hook, the game stayed under 4-3. The Cubbies win it, even with an additional inning, as the Cubs walk it off in the home half of the 10th. An infield single, the game-winning RBI off the bat of Nico Horner, as the Cubs take the opener of their midweek set against the Atlanta Braves 4-3.
You take a look at Morton, 5 innings pitched, 2 runs, only 1 earned. That should be good enough for a victory here with 18-mile-an-hour winds blowing out at Wrigley Field. You take a look at Assad on the other side, who's been very good this season overall. 4 2/3 innings pitched. He gave up 3 runs, only 2 earned. But how about this? Dancing around 5 free bases out here with walks. Can't have that happen. He also did give up 2 home runs. But here's the crux of the argument. So many times in the past, we've taken a look at the Atlanta Braves. Who cares who's on the mound? That is an electric lineup that is going to dominate on a night-to-night basis. And we told you yesterday, 80-degree temperatures, wind blowing out. This should be a great night for the Braves offense. But you can't say it wasn't, Ben, for the chances. Forget about the hits. Look at runners in scoring position for the Braves yesterday. 0 for 14. You're not going to win any baseball games if you do that. Now, granted, as a handicapper and a gambler, I take a look at myself and say, okay, if I had a team total in that game, the Braves only scored 3 runs. I still figured I did my job handicapping because there were 14 chances with runners on base or at second base or greater with players at the plate. You can't have that here. Sooner or later, you have to convert them. And also, in a game that you lost 4-3, 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position, certainly not good enough. In a game we probably expected runs, but sometimes the pitchers also can factor into that. Decent pitching performances, extra innings with that wind blowing out and only 7 runs in Wrigley, that's a good win for the Cubs.
The Braves, by far, the highest under percentage in Major League Baseball, 65.1%, the only team that is north of 61% in Major League Baseball this year. And Atlanta got started going over in 9 of their first 12 games to begin this MLB campaign. They have now been under in 12 of their previous 14. Javier Assad continues to give the Cubbies quality starts when they are booked as an underdog with Assad on the bump. It is worth a sprinkle on that money line number for Chicago. The Cubs make good on that. Elsewhere around MLB, late night in Los Angeles, second game of this midweek series between the Dodgers and the D-backs, and Arizona evens it up with a 7-3 victory last night in L.A. The Diamondbacks, of course, the underdog against the Dodgers, who have only been booked as a dog twice so far this Major League Baseball season. Arizona wins 7-3.
Yeah, Brandon fought on the mound yesterday, giving you exactly what you want. You're not asking sometimes for dominant starts, Ben, against good teams. Just asking for quality starts to give us a chance. 6 innings pitched, 3 runs, but only 2 of those earned, along with 7 strikeouts. Lowers his ERA now down to 4.05. But let's take a look at that lineup, which is interesting for the Diamondbacks for us. We've talked about this multiple times already. Corbin Carroll, 1 for 5 in that game, still only hitting 191 out of the leadoff position. Sooner or later, you're expecting him to wake up. But the one guy that has been really good in that lineup, look at that third hole batter, and that is Jock Peterson. 321 on the season, 3 RBI last night, which included a home run, 2 of 5 at the plate, really getting the job done. The Diamondbacks still waiting on that magic that we saw last year with that run to the World Series. A few games under 500. As we say, you got to start somewhere. Maybe that's a great start in knocking off the Dodgers, who have now dropped to 33-18 on the season.
And L.A. made things interesting in the home half of the 6th. RBI single from Shohei Ohtani. He leads all of Major League Baseball with his batting average of .356. Leads all of MLB after going 2 for 4 yesterday with the most hits in the major leagues at 69. And they did make it a close game, 4-3 entering the 7th. Arizona still in front. It was that 3-run shot from Jock Peterson against one of his former teams in the Dodgers that really prevailed for Arizona. Again, a plus 148 moneyline underdog price on the Diamondbacks last night in L.A. Total of 8.5 pregame does go over. There is no better team, though, right now in all of Major League Baseball than the Philadelphia Phillies. An MLB best 35th win yesterday. Best record in the bigs. 5-2 the win for the Phils to start off their midweek set at the bank against the Texas Rangers, the reigning World Series champs. And after earning a no decision in his first start of the year, Ranger Suarez has been lights out DRS, a perfect 9-0 record with a 1.36 ERA. That is second best in Major League Baseball. A career high 10 strikeouts yesterday for Suarez as Philadelphia wins 5-2.
Pretty incredible as it's setting up, where you take a look at the top two pitchers on the Phillies list coming into the season, the big money guys. Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola signed the long-term extensions, but sometimes it's a matter of who is behind those guys performing like an ace. And if you can get your 3 or 4 starters to do that, you're going to be hell on wheels throughout the summer. That's what Ranger Suarez is doing. And also, we're not talking about, hey, he's having a good start. A historic start here. 9 of his first 10 games wins, 1.36 ERA against the world champion Texas Rangers. And also keep in mind, the Phillies put up 5 runs yesterday and got that victory. John Gray's been tremendous this season. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs yesterday with an ERA of around 2. Those are key victories. And I always like to take those victory laps as a Philadelphia Phillies fan. You know, playing teams over 500. You know, came in 500 yesterday, the Rangers, and lost. You can't play teams over 500 if you're just sweeping every single team you play who's around 500. Make it make sense at this point. The Phillies are really good. Now, the test is going to be when you send a pitcher that might be not so good at the top of the rotation, like Taijuan Walker, into the environment. If you're winning games like that, it's just meant to be at this point. The Phillies 20-8 at home, 35-14 now total. All that momentum stacking up. The Braves not playing that good right now. A 6-game lead in the East. And still, the Philadelphia Phillies, not even favorites in their own division.
No, they are not. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But again, to highlight the historic start for Ranger Suarez, he is the first pitcher in MLB since the mid-1960s to start in his first 10 outings of a year with a perfect 9-0 record and a sub-1.5 ERA. That 1.36 ERA, second best in Major League Baseball, only behind Shota Imanaga. We'll look at the NL Cy Young Award odds in just a moment as well. But the Rangers DRS on the opposite end of the equation from Philadelphia, the reigning World Series champs, with the defeat yesterday in Philadelphia, drop a game under 500, 24-25. And how about this? Our producer, Joe Frizo, is known as the stat man. He displays his research at the highest degree each and every day. His brother Frizo with this stat. This is the first time the Rangers in 2 seasons under Bruce Bochy have been under 500. The entire Frizo family contributing to our research here on the early line.
How about that? There we go. And also, yes, the Philadelphia Phillies putting teams under 500. Sounds familiar throughout this 2024 Major League Baseball season so far. We'll see where they go. And also keep in mind, Citizens Bank Ballpark is a very good hitter's park. We're just starting to get into hitter's weather here. Watch out, man. We're going to hit some lightning bolts down there and cash in some RBI props. Love to see it.
Total of 8 yesterday does stay under, but because of another stellar pitching performance out of Ranger Suarez. But he's not the favorite to win the NL Cy Young Award. It's his teammate, Zach Wheeler, who was even in front of Shota Imanaga at plus 484. Imanaga, he has the best ERA in Major League Baseball, sub-1 at this moment. And then Chris Sale, who has been great now, is the ace of the staff, presumably for Atlanta, in the absence of Spencer Strider. How do you evaluate these National League Cy Young odds?
Yeah, you're also going to get some of those extracurriculars that we always talk about, right? Give me a team in the playoffs down in the hunt, pitching in big games with big performances. That's probably what you're going to get out of Zach Wheeler at that plus 330 price. Ranger Suarez, and it's funny, like the jury is still out. Like the guy's doing something historic that we haven't seen in 50 to 60 years in Major League Baseball, but the trust level just isn't there yet. The same way why the Atlanta Braves are priced over the Philadelphia Phillies in the East, the trust level for the Philadelphia Phillies all throughout the summer just isn't there yet. But I'll tell you what's kind of funny. You look at the NL Cy Young Awards market. It's Wheeler, it's Imanaga, and it's Suarez up top. Makes some sense. They're National League pitchers. I look at Glasnow, Sale, and Cease right behind him like, oh, did I combine somehow the American League and the National League? It just looks odd to have those 3 pitchers in the National League. But 2 of the top 3 right now in the odds race, Philadelphia Phillies. That tells you how good a season they're actually having.
And one final point on those Titans trying to win their division. Up next on the early line. A walk-off yesterday in Houston will continue to go around the daily Diamond Dash in Major League Baseball. But you have heard Donnie and I both mention how the Phils right now have a 6-game advantage for the top spot in the National League East over the Atlanta Braves. We've referenced this point a few times, Donnie, in the last 7 to 8 days. The Braves struggling as of late. They've dropped 5 of their last 6. Philadelphia, the best team in MLB, 35-14, the only team with a win percentage at .700 or better at this moment. And still, the Atlanta Braves have remained an odds-on favorite. But that market is starting to move. The Braves still an odds-on favorite, minus 130, the price as of this Wednesday morning. But I finally got in. I think it's a good bet. The Phils even money plus 100 to win the National League East with a 6-game advantage the week before Memorial Day. Now, there's a long summer ahead in Major League Baseball. We still have more than 100 games left in this Major League Baseball season. And if I lose, I lose. But I think it's a good number based on what I have seen out of Philadelphia, despite Atlanta winning this division 6 consecutive seasons. And I hear what you said. The market is not fully trusting in the Phillies at this moment. Let's not forget the Phils have played in the National League Championship Series each of the past 2 years. Sure, they haven't been great in the regular season for the entirety of 162 the past 2 seasons, but they're still a highly talented baseball team that is playing like the best in the bigs. And Trey Turner's not even there at the moment. Give me Philadelphia to win the National League East.
Hey, it makes sense right now. It does, because you're also trying to look at what's going to take place in the future. And this would maybe be different. It's like, okay, Strider got injured a little bit earlier. He should be back around June to sort of give you that second half kick where every 5th day you might have the best pitcher in baseball going for you. They don't have that. But it seems like every 5th day for the Phillies, a new dominant starter is on the mound. And that's how you win baseball games, particularly in the regular season. Now, granted, yes, you need dominant starters in playoff time, but how many times do we see those dominant starters go 5 innings, they're tired because they threw 200-plus innings on the season? Now's the time where, on a day-to-day basis, if you're constantly running out a better pitching staff than the other team you're playing, you're going to win most of your games. And that's the way I look at it. Now, I do understand Atlanta started off red hot on offense, Ben, to start the season. They've gone a little dormant. You're going to get that hitting weather down in the Big A this summer. Matt Olson will come around. Ronald Acuna Jr. is going to come around. I get that. But nobody's going to come in and rescue that starting pitching staff, because also, let's be honest, Chris Sale looks like he's reverted back to his Cy Young Award-winning ways, like back with like the early days of the Boston Red Sox and the Chicago White Sox, damn near unhittable. What happens if he turns back into the average pitcher we saw basically over the past 2 years? That could be devastating. The Braves are a great organization. I think the best front office in baseball. They will make moves, but you're not making moves enough to bring in a guy like Spencer Strider to sort of carry you into the playoffs here. I think the Phillies are the team to beat right now, and I do think it's mispriced right now in the odds market.
And it's a 6-game deficit the Braves have to make their way out of. Could they? Sure. Is it still a gap behind? Absolutely so. Now we go around the rest of MLB. The Astros have not had an easy test this week against the Angels to continue their winning ways. They dropped the opener after allowing 3 home runs in the 5th on Monday evening in Houston. Yesterday, it took extras. Kyle Tucker with his 2nd home run of the game, his MLB leading 17th of this season, forces extra innings, and then Jeremy Pena, a walk-off RBI single for Houston. The Astros win 6-5. They were booked as nearly a $2 favorite. They do win outright. A total of 9 does go over in H-Town.
Tucker's been crazy. Pena, the young shortstop here, he's been phenomenal on the season. 328 now after going 2 for 5. In this game, I did have 2 RBI shots that I played. It was Rengifo and it was Calhoun. And also it was Dinger Tuesday here on the FanDuel Sportsbook. I had the choice of Willie Calhoun and Rengifo. I went with Willie Calhoun. He didn't get an RBI yesterday or a home run. And you saw Rengifo 3 RBIs, which included a home run. But also, we talk about handicapping and how you let it play out. A bad handicap would be the cleanup hitter going 0 for 5. But when the cleanup hitter, in a game where I expect to get a lot of runs, got 2 base hits, you expect maybe a home run out of those 2 base hits, but certainly an RBI chance or an opportunity there, which they didn't get because why? Rengifo was cleaning up everything out there, so no RBIs actually got to Willie Calhoun. So still a decent night overall, but a good win for the Astros, and I keep getting back to this point. We don't have a team like the Phillies, who are the lead dogs out in the AL West, running away with the division, which would be like 10 or 12 games above the Houston Astros. It's tightly packed here. They're starting to play better baseball. There's a pedigree in Houston where they expect to be in the playoffs. I know they're 22 and 27, but it just feels like we want to kick them out of the playoffs already until you look at the standings and realize we're not even in the June yet.
The Astros 5 games below 500, but still, there's only one team in the American League West right now. It's the Seattle Mariners that is above 500, with the Rangers dropping below that mark, and Seattle a 6-3 victory yesterday in the Bronx. The Yanks entered this week winners of 7 in a row, now on a 2-game skid against the Mariners. That 6-3 victory for the M's yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive that you're taking a look at Seattle going into New York. And I believe, was it 3 straight games? I think they've now beaten the New York Yankees at this point. pretty impressive stuff overall, because if you're winning games against good teams in their own ballparks, that's going to help you late in the season, no doubt.
The Mariners, the only team in the American League West, 5 games above 500 at 27 and 22, the favorites to win the division. How about those Kansas City Royals, DRS? They played 10 yesterday at home inside Kauffman against the Detroit Tigers. 6 RBIs for the $280 million man, Bobby Witt Jr. 3 for 4 at the dish, 2 home runs yesterday, scored 3 runs, 6 ribbies. KC has won 31 games this year. They're 20-8 inside Kauffman with a 10-3 victory yesterday over Detroit.
Love to say it. And there's a lot of guys I like on that team on a night-to-night basis against decent pitching matchups for them to get RBI. Take a look at Garcia in the leadoff hole yesterday. 4 of 5, now hitting .263, picked up an RBI. Bobby Witt Jr., 6 RBI. Now, our guy Vinny P went 1 for 5 with no RBI, but Salvador Perez, another RBI. Michael Massey, I've been talking about him quite a bit. 1 RBI in that game. This is a good, young, fun team to watch. And as I keep saying here, the later we get into the season, we're not into June yet, but the Kansas City Royals continue to stay well above 500. That breeds confidence in that locker room, and more importantly, lets that front office know, get us a couple pieces here. We might be able to make a run at this playoff race.
Kansas City has won 5 straight, but so has Cleveland, so the Guardians maintain a 1.5 lead over the Royals in the American League Central. Divisional duel in Tampa. The Red Sox have won both of the first 2 games this week in the Trop. 5-2 the victory for the Sox. Rafael Devers, though, his 6-game streak of hitting at least a home run does come to a close.